The party at Party's bar was in full swing. The air was thick with the scent of ale and the sound of clinking glasses. The atmosphere was electric, filled with the joyous cacophony of voices and laughter. It was a place where dreams were born and legends were made. Laughter echoed off the wooden beams, mingling with the music that played in the background. The bar was a sanctuary for those who sought adventure, a haven for those who dared to dream. Luffy, a young boy with eyes full of adventure, stared at the red-haired man. His heart raced with excitement and admiration. This man was more than just a pirate. He was a symbol of freedom and courage. Shanks, a pirate who had become his hero. With his charismatic smile and fearless demeanor, Shanks embodied everything Luffy aspired to be. When Shanks offered him a place on his ship, Luffy didn't hesitate. His heart soared at the thought of sailing the seas with his idol. It was an opportunity of a lifetime, a chance to turn his dreams into reality. He wanted to be a pirate, just like Shanks. The idea of exploring uncharted territories, discovering hidden treasures, and living a life of adventure was intoxicating. He wanted to be free, to explore the world, to find the One Piece, the legendary treasure that promised unimaginable wealth and the title of Pirate King. There was just one problem. Shanks wouldn't take him. Not yet. The disappointment was severe, but Luffy's spirit remained unbroken. "You're too young," Shanks said, ruffling Luffy's hair. His voice was gentle but firm, filled with a promise of future adventures. "But," he added, a twinkle in his eye, "when you're older and a real man, then you can join my crew." Years passed. Luffy trained. He punched trees, honing his strength and resilience. He swam in the ocean, challenging the waves and building his endurance. The sea became his playground, a place where he could test his limits and dream of the adventures that awaited him. He dreamed of the day he would join Shanks' crew. Every night he would look up at the stars, imagining the countless possibilities that lay beyond the horizon. Then one day Shanks returned. The sight of the pirate ship docking at the port filled Luffy with a renewed sense of hope and excitement. He saw the fire in Luffy's eyes, the determination etched on his face. It was clear that the boy had grown, not just in age but in spirit and resolve. He smiled. "Well, Luffy," Shanks said, holding out the straw hat, "are you ready to become a pirate?" The hat was more than just an accessory. It was a symbol of their bond and the adventures that lay ahead. Luffy's grin split his face in two. His heart swelled with joy and anticipation. This was the moment he had been waiting for. He didn't need to say a word. His eyes spoke volumes, filled with unwavering determination and excitement. His answer was in his eyes. They shone with a fierce resolve, a promise to live up to the legacy of the straw hat. He took the straw hat, placing it firmly on his head. It felt like a crown, a symbol of his newfound purpose and the adventures that awaited him. This was it. His adventure was finally beginning. The world was vast and full of mysteries, and Luffy was ready to face them all. He was going to be a pirate, sailing with the red-haired pirates. The world was waiting, and Luffy was ready to embrace it with open arms and an unyielding spirit. Life on board the Red Force was a whirlwind. Luffy threw himself into every task, eager to prove himself. He scrubbed decks with the enthusiasm of someone discovering buried treasure. He learned to tie knots with the focus of a master swordsman. Shanks watched him, a knowing smile on his face. He saw the potential in Luffy, but he also saw the recklessness. "Luffy," Shanks said one day, after pulling the boy out of a brawl he'd started with a much larger pirate. "Being strong isn't just about fighting. It's about knowing when to fight." Luffy, nursing a black eye, looked confused. "But Shanks," he protested, "they were being mean." Shanks chuckled. "There will always be people who want to fight, Luffy. A true leader chooses his battles." He clapped a hand on Luffy's shoulder. "You have a good heart, Luffy. Don't let anger control you." Shanks' words sunk in. Luffy started to observe the way Shanks dealt with people. He saw the calmness in his eyes, the way he could diffuse a tense situation with a smile and a laugh. he began to understand. Strength wasn't just about power, it was about control. It was about being smart, about choosing your battles. It was about protecting the things that mattered. Luffy learned quickly. From the moment he set foot on the Red Force, he was determined to prove himself. The sea was his calling, and he embraced every challenge it threw at him. His days were filled with rigorous training, pushing his body and mind to their limits. He knew that to become the Pirate King, he had to be more than just strong. He had to be resilient, adaptable, and wise. He had a natural talent for haki, a mysterious power that few could master. His innate ability to harness this power set him apart from others. It was as if the very essence of the sea flowed through his veins, granting him strength and insight beyond his years. His conqueror's haki blossomed under Shanks' tutelage. Shanks, the legendary pirate, saw potential in Luffy that others might have overlooked. He guided Luffy with a firm yet gentle hand, teaching him not just the techniques but the philosophy behind them. Shanks believed that true strength came from the heart, and he instilled this belief in Luffy. He trained with Ben Beckman, the first mate, learning the art of marksmanship. Ben was a master strategist and a sharpshooter without equal. Under his guidance, Luffy learned to focus his mind, to steady his hand, and to hit his target with precision. It wasn't just about shooting, it was about understanding the importance of patience and timing. He sparred with Lucky Roo, the jovial giant, developing his agility and speed. Roo's size and strength were intimidating, but his playful nature made the training sessions enjoyable. Luffy learned to move swiftly, to dodge and weave, and to use his smaller size to his advantage. Each sparring match was a lesson in agility and quick thinking. He listened to the stories of the crew, absorbing their knowledge of the Grand Line, the dangers and the wonders. The tales of adventure, of battles fought and won, of mysterious islands and legendary treasures fueled his imagination and his resolve. He learned that the sea was as unpredictable as it was beautiful, and that every journey was a test of courage and wit. He learned navigation from Yasopp, honing his sense of direction. Yasopp, a master marksman and navigator, taught Luffy the importance of reading the stars, understanding the currents, and predicting the weather. Navigation was more than just a skill, it was an art, and Luffy embraced it with enthusiasm. He wasn't treated any differently from the rest of the crew. Despite his young age and inexperience, he was expected to pull his weight to contribute to the ship's daily operations. This sense of equality fostered a deep sense of camaraderie and respect among the crew. He had to earn his place. Every task, no matter how menial, was a step towards proving his worth. He understood that respect was not given freely. It had to be earned through hard work and dedication. He scrubbed decks, cleaned cannons, and even learned to cook, though his culinary skills remained questionable at best. These chores, though mundane, taught him the value of discipline and responsibility. They were the foundation upon which his character was built. He made mistakes, of course, plenty of them. Each error was a reminder of his limitations, but also an opportunity to grow. The crew never let him forget his blunders, but they also never let him give up. But each mistake was a lesson. Every failure was a stepping stone towards improvement. He learned to analyze his errors, to understand what went wrong, and to find ways to avoid repeating them. He learned from his failures, picking himself up and trying again. This resilience became one of his greatest strengths. No matter how many times he fell, he always got back up, more determined than ever. The crew of the red-haired pirates became his family. They shared their wisdom, their laughter, and their dreams with him. They were more than just comrades. They were his brothers and sisters of the sea. They teased him mercilessly, but they also had his back. Their playful jabs were a sign of affection, a way to toughen him up, and prepare him for the harsh realities of the pirate life. They saw the potential in him, the same potential Shanks saw. They believed in his dream, even when it seemed impossible. Their faith in him was a source of strength and motivation. They pushed him to be better, to be stronger. They challenged him to surpass his limits, to become the best version of himself. Their support and encouragement were the driving forces behind his growth. And slowly, surely, Luffy began to blossom. His skills improved, his confidence grew, and his spirit became unbreakable. He was no longer just a boy with a dream. He was a young man on the path to greatness. He was no longer the impulsive child who had stepped onto the Red Force. The trials and tribulations he faced had shaped him, molding him into a capable and determined individual. He was growing into a capable, confident young pirate, shaped by the sea and the Wente Taigaiden Saigoniawek. Arabendisi just my fight in the way no gian that time place way let's see the way go for him. The journey was far from over, but Luffy was ready for whatever lay ahead, with the spirit of a true pirate burning brightly within him. The world took notice of the red-haired pirate's newest addition. The seas were abuzz with rumors and speculations, as the infamous crew welcomed a new member who was no ordinary pirate. Whispers traveled on the winds. Sailors in every port, from the East Blue to the Grand Line, spoke in hushed tones about the young man who had joined Shanks' crew. Monkey D. Luffy, the son of Dragon, is sailing with red-haired Shanks. This revelation was more than just news. It was a seismic shift in the balance of power on the high seas. The news sent ripples through the Grand Line. Pirates and Marines alike felt the tremors of this unexpected alliance, wondering what it would mean for the future. The world government grew wary. In their grand halls and secret chambers, the leaders of the world pondered the implications of Luffy's new allegiance. The Yonko, the four emperors who ruled the new world, watched with interest. Each of them understood the potential of this new alliance and the threat it could pose to their own power. Shanks, ever perceptive, used this to his advantage. He saw in Luffy not just a powerful ally, but a young man with the potential to change the world. He brought Luffy to meetings with powerful figures, teaching him the delicate dance of diplomacy. These were not just lessons in politics, but in the art of leadership. He showed him the power of influence, how a few well-chosen words could avert war. Luffy learned that strength alone was not enough. Wisdom and tact were equally important. Luffy witnessed firsthand the balance of power in the New World, the intricate web of alliances and rivalries. He, saw how fragile peace could be and how easily it could be shattered. He met Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world, and felt the weight of his presence. It was a humbling experience, one that showed Luffy the true scale of the challenges ahead. He encountered Big Mom, the fearsome matriarch of Tatoland, and learned the danger of underestimating an opponent. Her power was immense, and her ruthlessness unmatched. He even crossed paths with Kaido, the unkillable beast, and witnessed the raw destructive power the Yonko possessed. It was a stark reminder of the dangers that lurked in the New World. These encounters were more than just meetings. They were lessons. Each one imparted a new understanding, a new piece of the puzzle that was the New World. Shanks was showing Luffy the world he was inheriting, the world he would one day help shape. He was preparing him for the immense responsibility that lay ahead. He was teaching him the responsibility that came with power, the burden of leadership. Luffy was learning that being a leader was not just about commanding respect, but about earning it. He was preparing him for the day he would stand on his own, a force to be reckoned with in the New World. Luffy's journey was just beginning, but with Shanks' guidance, he was ready to face whatever came his way.